Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing a quick video on how to change the coolant on your car. This here is a 2002 Acura TL Type S, and just like any other fluid, your coolant needs to be changed in order to maintain proper temperature of your engine. It's a rather simple job, and you don't need that many tools. You just need your basic tool set here. We're going to be primarily using a 12mm socketed wrench, as well as a 7/8 inch wrench. We're going to need our simple draining equipment, such as a drain pan, a funnel, and something to put the old coolant in. We're of course going to need the coolant itself. This is genuine Honda Antifreeze Type 2. We're also going to need just some paper towels just for some cleanup in case we spill or splatter. This here is 1/4 inch inner diameter vinyl tubing. We're going to need that for when we drain coolant out of the engine block. And we're also going to be lifting up our vehicle in order to get access to that drain valve at the back of our engine. So we're going to need our simple jack stand, and tire removal equipment. So why don't we get started? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our e-brake, since we're going to be jacking up the vehicle. Next, we need to turn the power on in our car, just the power. And we need to turn the heater up all the way to max temperature, as well as the fan all the way up to max. And we're just going to let that sit for a couple seconds here. This kind of opens up the heating system so we can get access to all the coolant when we drain it. And that should be good. And lastly, we're gonna pop our hood. Also, it is important to note that you should always let the engine and radiator cool down before beginning this project. Removing the radiator cap while the engine is hot can cause coolant to spray out, which could seriously scald you. So we're gonna let the engine and radiator cool before we begin. Even if the temperature gauge inside your vehicle says that the engine's completely cooled down, you still want to make sure that the engine itself is cool. We want to make sure our radiator cap and radiator hoses are cool to the touch. Be careful touching these because this does get extremely hot, but it is still a little bit warm. And so we're just going to let the engine cool for a couple more minutes before beginning this project, just so nothing sprays all over the place. In the meantime though, while the engine's cooling off a little bit more, we can begin by jacking up our vehicle here to remove our front right passenger side tire. This is both going to give us better access to the radiator drain plug as well as the drain valve at the back of the engine block. Alright, we got our vehicle jacked up, tire off, and our jack stand in place. We can now begin draining the fluid. So first, we're going to come over to our radiator cap here, and we're going to loosen it. Nice and slow to relieve any pressure. Here we go. You can push down, it'll click, and come right off. There we go. Next, we're going to locate and crack open the radiator drain valve, the butterfly drain valve. It's located kind of right here on the passenger side. So let's go down on under. And back a little bit. And there it is. So this can be pretty hard to remove by hand. So this is where our 7/8 inch wrench can come into play. It fits perfectly right over this butterfly valve here. If I can do it with one hand. There we go. And we're just going to crack it loose. There we go. And from there, we can probably loosen it by hand a little bit. Yep, we can. So now we're going to get our drain pan in place. We've got some cardboard here in case there's a little bit of a spill anywhere. place our drain pan right on under. There we go. And now I'm going to loosen it and it'll start draining here. There we go. And we're going to let that drain for a little bit. It's probably going to take a couple minutes. So we'll come back in a little bit. And you don't need to worry about it shooting out. The coolant will drain straight down. So just make sure to have your pan properly in place like so. And while that's draining, we're going to locate the drain valve on the engine block. Pretty easy to find. So here's our wheel. There's our oil filter. And then it's located kind of in and up. Right there. You'll see that there's a drain valve and then the actual kind of brownish rusted bolt. We just need to remove the actual drain valve part. That's where we're going to need our 12 millimeter just to crack it loose. And then we can use a wrench to loosen it after we apply our vinyl tubing. So here's the actual drain valve itself. I actually went and bought one online just because last time I had tried this project, I tried removing it with just a basic wrench and ended up kind of stripping the thread. So now I got a new one, but here it is. And so what we need to do is we're going to remove it with this specific one. This has the 6 sides. This has kind of the star pattern. And then we got our basic 2-sided wrench. We're going to use the 6-sided one. That's going to grip the valve on all 6 sides to be sure that we won't strip it. And then the reason we need our tubing is we're going to put the tubing over the end of the valve. And then when we loosen it the rest of the way with our wrench, the fluid will flow through the tubing and into our container. And here's just a little side-by-side comparison of the old valve and the new valve. You can see the edges on this one are just completely rounded. So you can imagine why I needed a new one. Much better. And in case you're also in need of a new part, there's the part number. Cost about between $10 and $15 online. I'll post a link in the description. So we got our 12-meter ratchet in place, and now we're just going to pop it loose and not loosen it too much because we don't want it to actually drain any fluid yet. I meant to say 12 millimeter on that last clip, but you get the point. But now is for probably one of the harder parts. We need to get our 12 millimeter wrench on there, followed by that 1/4 inch inner diameter vinyl tubing. You won't be able to see what you're doing as you're due to the tight spacing, so this is all you'll be able to see as you're placing your wrench in your tubing, so you'll kind of have to do it by feel, but we'll get that on, the wrench on first, tubing on second. The tubing's a little bit snug, but that's what you want so there aren't any leaks. And then we're going to place the end of our tubing in a bucket and we're going to start draining. Okay, tube in the bucket. Let's start draining. Alright, and we're draining, so we're just going to let all that fluid drain out. This also takes a good couple minutes, but we'll just let that sit. And in the meantime, we can start working on that reservoir. Alright, next we're going to remove the coolant reservoir. So we're going to remove our top cap here. And we're also going to remove the negative battery cable. It connects right there. We're going to pop that loose. And after that, this will pull up and out. There we go. And we're going to dispose of the old fluid as well as clean out the inside and outside of our container here. Since coolant is pretty much water, it's perfectly okay to use a garden hose to just clean it on out. And we'll just rinse it out a couple times, get it nice and clean. Alright, we cleaned out the reservoir, and now we can just kind of slide that back down on in there. And by now, both the radiator and the side there should be pretty darn close to draining. I think this is still going a little bit. Yeah, it is. But for now, we can tighten the radiator drain valve here. Now you'll notice it's made of plastic, so we don't need to tighten it too tight. We don't need to torque it or anything or get out our 7/8 inch wrench again. We can just finger tight it. It's only plastic. So, and you'll notice when you're tightening it, it just kind of stops. Yep, right there. That's all it needs. It's not going to go any further. No need to tighten it any more than that. Nice and simple. And it looks like our engine block is also done draining. So we can remove this vinyl tubing here, and then we can tighten it back down with our ratchet. The book says it only needs to be tightened 7 foot-pounds, but good luck getting a torque wrench in there. So just a little hand tighten is good. Don't tighten it too tight either. Just nice and snug is good enough. Alright, both the radiator and engine block drain valves are tightened. Now we can drain our coolant into our disposal container, and this is actually a 1.32 gallon jug, and we filled it up pretty good. The book says we need 1.48 gallons to fill up the coolant system, so that's why we need 2 gallons. But now we've drained that, and we can put our tire back on and begin to fill our radiator back up. Make sure to torque your lug nuts down to 80 foot-pounds. So now it's time to fill the car back up with coolant. And these next couple steps are going to pretty much involve filling, starting the car, filling, starting the car, but we'll go through it one step at a time. So let's first make sure that we got our tube in the reservoir there, and we are going to fill up our radiator to the base of the filler neck right here. And I was able to pour this entire first full gallon of coolant in without it reaching the top of the filler neck there, so be rest assured that you can put this entire gallon in there without it overflowing, and then work on that second gallon. Alright, we've reached the first part of our filling process. We have filled it up to the base of that filler neck there, and now we're going to get into the car and start it for 30 seconds and turn it off. Alright, and start the car. And we're just going to let it run for 30 seconds. Alright, we just let the car run for 30 seconds. You can see that it is no longer at the base of the filler neck. And make sure to have the engine running with the cap off. Don't worry, it's not going to make a mess. And now our next step is to again fill it up to the base of this filler neck. And we're also going to fill up the reservoir now finally to the max fill mark. And again, we are filled up to the base of that filler neck there, as well as we are filled up to that max fill line, which you can kind of see right there. We are at that max fill line, and so now we can put the reservoir cap back on, tighten that down, and we can put our radiator cap back on as well. There we go. Now we're going to come back into the vehicle and start her up. And what we need to watch for now is for our cooling fan there to turn on at least twice. It'll turn on, it'll turn off, and then it'll turn on a second time. When it turns on a second time, we're going to turn the vehicle off. So I got the cooling fans to turn on twice. However, this process was taking far too long at idle, so I actually got a helper. What I had them do is I had them come in the car, and I had them hold the RPMs at 1500. I had them hold it there until the fans came on. When they did the first time, I had my helper let off the gas. until the fans turned off. Once they turned off, I had them bring up the engine to 1500 RPMs again, waited for those fans to kick on, and then we turned off the vehicle. Also, while we were doing this, make sure to keep that heat on. That's also another important part. Now, in order to get those fans to run, obviously they only turn on when the engine's hot and it needs to be cooled down a bit. So obviously that means that your engine is going to come all the way up to full operating temperature and your engine's going to be hot. And the next part involves us filling up that filler neck as well as the reservoir for our next step, but we can't remove the radiator cap until the engine is cool. So now for this next part, we're going to let the engine cool all the way down, and we're going to fill up the radiator to that base of the filler neck, and we're also going to fill up the reservoir to that max fill line. So we've let the car cool down for about a good solid hour, and while it is still kind of pretty warm to the touch, we should be able to move on to the next process. A good way to check if it's cool enough and if it's able to be opened, even though it's still pretty warm, you got our main radiator hose here. And you can see it's very flexible and easy to squeeze there. That means that there's no pressure in the system and that it should be okay to remove this radiator cap. But the main focus we have right now is to make sure that nobody gets hurt with any steam or splash from the pressure of the hot antifreeze in the system. But this is pretty flexible right now. If it's hard and solid as a rock, you don't want to open this yet. Let your engine cool for a bit more. So we'll just open it really slowly here. And no pressure came out. If you don't push down on it, it has a first locking point in the event of it spraying, so that way it won't pop off. In order to completely take it off, you'll have to push down and twist it that second time. But as you're slowly turning it, if you notice any steam or antifreeze coming out, immediately turn it back and let your engine cool the rest of the way off. But for now, we got flexible hose, no steam or anything or antifreeze is coming out, and we can remove our radiator cap. And then again, we're going to fill it up to that base of the filler neck there, as well as fill our reservoir to the max line. By the looks of it, I don't even need to fill up the reservoir, but we do need to top off the filler neck, so we're going to do that next. Alright, so we've topped off the filler neck here again, you can see, to the base of the radiator filler neck, as well as our reservoir is up to that max fill line. And now we should be pretty much done filling with fluid. So we can put our cap on the reservoir back on, we can put our radiator cap back on, and we should be good to go. Lastly, we're going to take our car for a drive. You can take it to work or school, and then when you get back home, let it cool all the way down to the point that everything's cold to the touch. Like there's absolutely no heat within these coolant tubes. So let your engine cool 100% of the way down. And then lastly, if we need to, we're going to check our reservoir level again here. And if it's down a little at all, you can add a little bit more fluid to your reservoir. In which case, mine originally was down a good inch or two. So just add a tiny bit more fluid to that max fill level after that, and you are all done changing your coolant officially. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'm pretty good about getting back to people. Also, please check the description for additional info and links on how to change your coolant. Thanks again. Take care.